Welcome to the Emmy Awareness Week Sally and Retha interview. Retha, as you can see, is in South Africa. I'm in the UK. We both work incredibly hard for the Emmy C.F.S community around the world. And this is our way to show that Emmy C.F.S is a global condition. So Retha, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Retha Viviers from South Africa. I founded the Emmy C.F.S Foundation almost 4 years ago, and I also have Emmy. I've been formally diagnosed in 2008, and that's basically has become my passion to help other people with Emmy as well.
So what brought about the creation of the foundation then? Did anything happen, or what made you have the idea to create it?
Yes, I started this Facebook support group in 2012, and throughout the years, as the members became more, I realized we all had the same need. We're all lonely, finances are a problem, and I realized there needed to be a formal organization that can actually try and achieve these goals. Raising awareness, education of the public and so on, and obviously fundraising and helping people,
Yeah, you drive, not you yourself, I'm assuming, but your organisation drives people to hospital and doctor's appointments, don't you?
Yes.
So you're very concentrated on patients.
Yes. We are very, I would love to be more hands-on with that at the moment, but that really depends on funds. So at the moment, the typical help we'll give will be buy people data or medicine, or pay for their medical consultation with a doctor. That's the type of thing we do, because we need funds to do the rest. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Okay, so anyone that doesn't know, I'm the founder of Emmy Foggy Dog, and I'm also the managing director of Stripy Light Bulb. I crowdfunded amongst Foggy's followers last year to be able to set up my business in the first place. So I do both advocacy with Foggy and education with Stripy Light Bulb. Everything I do is for the benefit of the Emmy C.F.S community, and both companies now are giving 50% of our surplus, which is profit, to Emmy C.F.S research. In my case, that's with Cure ME, who are based at the Emmy C.F.S Biobank in London. Please do take a look at both websites, emmyfoggydog.org and stripylightbulb.com. A bit like you, Retha, I was a patient, and I started to realise that not a lot of people knew anything about ME. I was diagnosed with C.F.S, and I didn't even know about the interlinking of ME and C.F.S. I didn't know how that worked. I do now. And I just felt, well, I'll raise awareness and I'll raise research funding. But Foggy kind of snowballed. Foggy got incredibly big, and that's why he's now a company rather than just a fundraiser.
Yes.
So, yeah, but we both kind of tackle the same issues from different places, but with the same end goal. We both got patients at the centre of everything that we do.
That's right.
But we do it from different just ways of doing things.
That's right. Yes.
In South Africa, what are the biggest challenges that you face as an organisation?
Well, at the moment, there are no disability benefits from the government at all for ME. And for us, I've made contact with the government, but for us to have them take us serious, we need to show them that it is not just, there's this crazy idea, it's just a white woman illness. And we know it's not. And we need to reach the broader public so that we can show the government that it's not only a middle class thing, it can absolutely affect anybody. In order to show the government, to get them to put ME on the map, we need to show them these figures. Because in South Africa, because of the past, there's something we call black economic equity, of black economic empowerment, and that means I cannot go to a company and get funds unless I can show them that 75% of our beneficiaries are black. That is just the way our politics work at the moment.
Yeah.
So I need to do a survey. So to catch 22, you know, you need to. Then also the focus is very much on AIDS. We've got a very high AIDS figure, also on tuberculosis and diabetes. But the government will not take us seriously until we can show them, you know, it's almost an epidemic.
Yeah, okay. I remember when I was doing my research for Stripy Lightbulb, I asked you for statistics about how many people have ME, C.F.S. in
Yes,
your country, and you simply could not give me that figure.
that's right.
And I vaguely remember on Facebook about 6 months ago, you talked about contacting a local disability centre and you had to explain to them what the
Yes,
outward indicators were of ME, C.F.S. to see if they had any patients, because they just did not know what ME was.
not at all. No, not at all. And also one thing we really want to do, it's one of our major goals, is to start us doing, well, first it will be like a ME commune, because there are so many people who are very, very lonely and would be able, it would be best or a very good place for them to live with fellow ME people who are not severely ill. And then from there on, we want to go the route of care facilities for ME people, where a doctor can come and diagnose. They can come, we can show them what ME is, those type of things. And patients can either be staying in or be an outpatient. But that is really something we need to work on. That's one of our biggest goals for the next year.
Okay.
And I really hope that we will be able to get the funds, because it will almost be the new head office of the foundation, and we will grow from there.
Yeah.
Start with a few patients, and because there's a need, you know, people are lonely and they're poor.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing. The need is there.
Absolutely.
I think with both of us, we've identified the need
Yes.
for each of our companies, but funding is the thing that's
A
going
nightmare.
we can do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
absolutely.
think it's also because the illness is invisible when people see us. So even now with this May month awareness, we're trying to show all the sad stories, to put it like that, because
Yeah,
people can relate to a child being ill, but not so much to an adult.
yeah,
So we're trying to tell those stories, the really, really sad stories. People can see it can happen to anybody.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
with Foggy's work, I've said it can affect absolutely anybody worldwide. It doesn't
absolutely.
discriminate in terms of age, race, or gender.
Nothing.
It is a fact that, is it 4-1 are female patients? However, if so many men aren't coming forward because of the stigma, is it 4-1? Is it
That's
such
exactly
a
my point. Yeah.
yeah,
I think, especially since I've started the foundation, I've definitely come across more men, not more men than women, but a lot more men. And I really think it's because of the stigma. I do believe that figure is not accurate. There will be more men. The ratio will be higher on the male side. I
yeah,
really believe that. But yeah, I think it's the stigma, and often they don't want to lose their jobs. So they just, you know, or they just don't get diagnosed. They just think they burnt out.
yeah. It's like, I think I have mentioned sexism in medicine with both Foggy and with Stripey. And I think the
Yes,
reason we aren't getting research funding is because of this idea that it's a female illness.
true.
But until men come forward and say, actually, me too,
Yes,
we're not going to be able to battle against that. But then it shouldn't really be, oh, well, men get it too, so yeah, you can have your research funding.
yeah,
But we need to get rid of this whole, it's a female illness, because it's, men get it too. So
exactly, exactly.
yes, so I don't concentrate on the female only bit.
No, me neither. And also, we have to prove that there are a lot of non-white people with it. And there must be people living in rural areas in poverty. I'm sure they're being told they're lazy, just leaving them in bed.
Yep.
There must be thousands of them.
Every time somebody Foggy sits and they take Foggy to a developing country, when they
Yes,
talk to locals who want to know what Foggy's all about, they say, I've never heard of ME. We
yes,
don't have anyone in our
yes,
community that's got ME. And they say,
Yes.
there is someone that doesn't leave their house. We don't know what's wrong with them. And then when that foggy sitter comes back to the UK and they talk to me, I say, well, just because they haven't been diagnosed does not mean they haven't got ME or CFS, whichever country they're in. So yeah, and and the other thing I get told is, oh, well, you know, people that live in developed countries have the luxury of being able to give in to the condition. If you're in a developing country, you have to work through it. What I want everyone watching this to understand is you cannot push through with ME/CFS.
No.
If you switch to running on adrenaline, so say you had a fire in your house and your body just used fight or flight and you had to run away, 2 days later you would be absolutely wiped out, wouldn't you, Retha?
Completely.
Like, you just can't push through it. It's not.
No, you can't. You can't.
That's why we need people to understand that.
Yes.
It's not a developed world condition.
Not at all. I must say, we have on our Facebook support group recently a physiotherapist joined. And she used to work in the rural areas in the Eastern Cape. And she says now that she's been diagnosed, only now she realizes how many she actually have come across that nobody knew.
No.
But now she realizes that is actually, and like she says, and like you've said, everybody gets trained to push through, do more exercise, you'll feel better. Yeah, you can't get worse advice.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to you privately about this. I went to physio about 3 months ago, and when I was in my actual appointment, I'd rested to be able to go to the appointment, and I was doing strength tests and this, that, and the other, and they said, are you sure you've got ME? Because you're very strong and, you know, you're normal on all of our charts. And I said there and then, 2 days time, I won't be able to do that. In fact, in 2 days time, I won't even be able to be here. And when I went to see them the following week, I was recovered again. And they said,
yeah, and that's all they see.
Yes. So they need to start doing follow-up appointments at home 2 days later to be able to appreciate what the ME is actually like. Do you think? Can you imagine?
Exactly.
If you're
that is what needs to happen. Yeah, I agree.
Because otherwise, it's, you know, if I go every week, then of course my payback will have ended, and I'll be in that cycle of being recovered again, and then they wipe me out for another 3 days. Yeah,
exactly. It's exactly that thing. And then people tell you, but you don't look sick. I went to the physio on Friday. I've got bad neck and jaw pain. And she said to me, yeah, but just remember when I spoke about the brain fog, I suddenly couldn't speak any sense. She said, yeah, but remember it's because you're getting older. And I thought, no, I'm not that old. And I said to her, we've just moved, and I realized how I've deteriorated since the previous move. She said, no, it's because you're getting older. Not that quick.
So without being rude, how old are you now?
52.
Okay, so if you were a fit and healthy 52-year-old and you started slurring your words and you were normally fit and healthy and they said it's because you're getting older, would you take that medical person seriously? No, you'd be, oh, I might be having a stroke, or oh, I've got a brain tumour.
Exactly.
But when we say it, it's just because you're getting old. I don't.
No, I don't buy that either. Yeah, it was difficult to bite on my tongue, but I did that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I bite my tongue just because I think I haven't got the energy to argue with you. No. And then when I do speak up for myself, I come across as being really, for want of a better word, arsey. And
yeah, very assertive.
Yeah, assertive. That's the word.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we are assertive, not aggressive.
You talked about your long-term plan in terms of this commune. Have you got any other long-term plans for the foundation that you want to tell everybody about?
Yeah, listen, obviously our big thing is raising awareness, and we need to raise awareness throughout the whole of the country, and we want to do it throughout Africa. We have made contact with some other countries, so to really take it from South Africa up into Africa, and we are working with a university to try and get that into their syllabus, because medical students just don't get that. And then our normal things, fundraising, things like that, you know. Yeah.
Well, I would
to try and help more patients.
More and more. Because the more you raise awareness, the more patients will come forward, and that's more pressure on your time.
Absolutely.
What I want everyone to realise today, watching this, is me and Retha were supposed to do this yesterday. I had to have a shower to wash my hair. Retha needed to wash her hair, and we wouldn't have had the energy to do this interview. So I'm going to bring this to a close in a minute, because I know we're both starting to, I can feel it, we're both starting to lose our words slightly. But what I would say in terms of Foggy, I'm hoping to do some kind of schools initiative, get children learning about ME, because I remember when I was at school, we had a cystic fibrosis schools initiative, and I still remember what I learned about cystic fibrosis many years later. So
Yes.
I can use a soft toy to reach children in schools. Bonus. So that's purely dependent on funding. If I do not get funding, that's not going to happen. So yeah, so we're both purely reliant on funding.
Yeah, and it seems to be so difficult. Show them a puppy in distress or a little child, and there goes the money. Even Notre Dame that burned down. I mean, it's very sad, it's tragic, but you know, just immediately there were people funding it.
Yeah, there were charities worldwide with their head in their hands. Because yes, it was traumatic, and it's a beautiful building, and it does need to be rebuilt. But the speed that money was raised by billionaires.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of very jealous charity people.
Yes, I agree. Now we need people to be treated with dignity and I believe the research is going quicker towards an answer or biomarker, and I think that validation is going to do a lot of good for all of us.
Yeah, because otherwise it's psychosomatic, because you haven't got any physical proof, and it's like, well, we've got indicators in brain, blood and guts. How much more do you want, really?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so thank you very much for talking to me, Retha.
Thank you for inviting me, Sally. It was lovely.
Pleasure. You are a friend I haven't met yet. One day.
We'll meet. We'll meet.
Anyway, you have a really good ME Awareness Week, and take care of yourself.
You too, hey? Yeah. Look after yourself, Sally.
I'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.